when I first moved here, it was March of '63. Well, I talking to a neighbor, Joe Legault, he said something about we've got some wolves in this country. And he said, I want you to come over and see one that the trappers just caught and scalped. I went over and took a photograph, and it was a big animal. It wasn't a coyote. He said, we think they call them red wolves, he said, but they could be different colors. So, heard about it, and then the rancher, that one of the rancher people, Jim Bob Jackson, lived down the road from here, and he mentioned that they had wolves on the refuge. And he said, they're not coyotes. And he said, they're wolves. And occasionally you'd see an animal. Then they got interested in the fact that it might be endangered. Now, the wolf was being controlled along with coyote. And the trappers, if they caught a bigger animal, they would report it as a wolf. And if it's definitely a coyote, they reported it as a coyote. But if you were up in Grayson County, like where I was at Hagerman Refuge, everybody up there always used the term wolves. The wolves are bothering our calves. They never would talk of coyotes. And there was a guy that's from college there at Sherman, Texas, as Howard McCarley, I believe is his name. And he did a study up there, and everything that he could find and samples that he could get, they were all just coyotes. But that was just a term that they used all through East Texas. A wolf was a wolf, and it wasn't a coyote. And so the predator and rodent control trappers, if they were knowledgeable, they got an animal they recognized as different from a coyote, they'd report it as a wolf, and otherwise they'd report it as a coyote. So all these records were accumulating in Washington. And so Joe Legault was a county commissioner, and he encouraged trapping because they were also ranchers. And maybe somebody had a loss, but right across the street was another rancher said, I've lived here all my life, I've never had any trouble from wolves. They're here, but they never bothered us. And so you had these conflicting stories about it. Well, commissioners promote things sometimes, and they like to get funds to please their neighbors. So there's always some county money balanced with federal money and state money for predator control. And our predator control office was in San Antonio, the headquarters. And at that time, the boss was Milt Caroline. Well, finally, somebody got some interest in these animals. And this trapper came down, I think his name was Boyd. He caught about 50-some animals in this area. And some of them are much bigger than others. In fact, he was so proud of some of the big ones he caught. He violated the rules, and he hung them on a gate on the highway down here next to the Barrow Ranch to display what he caught. So we started reporting in our narrative report that there were probably red wolves on the refuge.